Good morning, everyone. Highlander 58 on the AT. It's 9 o'clock in the morning on Friday, June 10th. I just left the Allenberry Resort Inn. I decided not to take a zero there. There's nothing really in town to do unless you want to go drink at the tavern, and I don't particularly want to do that. I had a few last night in the bar and grill of the inn. This is a real old place. It's been around a long time. It looks like it was left in the 70s as far as decor. My bathroom had pink and gray tile. That should tell you something. It's got a charm. It's nice, beautiful grounds. There's a fly fishing museum there. They have some tournaments there. They have tennis. But I got this feeling like it was kind of like that old motel resort in The Shining. It's just, there's like, people just vanished. Everything's set up but nobody's there. So there's no phones in the room, no microwaves, no refrigerators. I did find an ice machine and put ice in my bathroom sink to keep some beers cold. There is no general store anymore. So your options are to go into town and get food, have pizza delivered, or eat in the restaurant and bar. The restaurant and bar are nice, food is good. About $13 for a hamburger and fries. And they have alcohol and they have beer. Met a few hikers in there. A guy named Puck. Of course, the professor was there, and a couple more people I've met along the way. The Allenberry is probably the only place to stay in town other than the campground, I think. And I don't know if the new owners, when it is sold, are gonna cater to hikers or not. Hope they do. 40 bucks for a room, $4 for laundry. If you want quiet time, that's a place to go. The bar opens at 5 and they close it when they want to. So yeah, it's that way. Just make sure you call before you go there, ask about a hiker rate, because they have a sign out front that said that could change at any time. So goodbye Boiling Springs, and onward to Duncannon. Two more things. I have not heard from Nomad. I have left countless emails, texts, and voice messages on his phone. He has not answered. I don't know why, but I'm assuming that he does not want to hike, or he can't hike, or we just have crappy communication systems up here. So if I hear from him, I'll let you know. Our last communication was that he was going to try to make it to Rolling Springs, and that didn't happen. I have had no contact with him. However, I did get a text from Riser. He's in Hamburg. I thought he'd be a lot further along, but he's taken a few 0 days to enjoy the area on his way up there. So he's only about, maybe, I think, 4 or 5 days ahead of me now. Maybe not even that many, I don't know. But we may catch up, I don't know. So he told me that it gets a little sketchy, rocky, and a little more elevation in North PA. And I've been hearing that for a long time now, several days. So we'll see. This is why you want to do your miles like right now on those flats. But I'm not gonna worry about it. I'll get there, I'll get through it. Been through worse. It's trail magic ahead. I'm gonna stop in and say hello to everyone and see what's going on. Gotta love trail magic. Gotta love it. Gotta love trail magic. Hey everybody, this is Highlander 58 on the AT. I'm at the Darlington shelter in Pennsylvania, and it's about 4:30 in the afternoon. Did 14.3 miles to get here today. I did it for a reason, and that reason was that it sets me up to go into Duncannon, Pennsylvania in the morning, which is a trail town, and it gives me the opportunity to go to the Doyle hotel, hostel, and bar at noon. So they'll be open. So I'm going to go there and check out the Doyle, and I'm going to have a beer and some lunch, and I'm going to resupply in Duncannon. This is a very nice shelter, has excellent tent sites, has the Taj Mahal privy, which is a legend on the trail. There's two other guys here, Joe, and I think the other one's called High and Wild or something like that, a guy from Colorado. And I'm going down now to check out the water source to see if it's good water. And my tent is set up. We're sitting around the shelter just having conversation. It's quiet. Most of the hikers went on to the next shelter, which puts them in line to get into Duncannon earlier, but nothing's open that early, so I'm gonna stay here tonight, get up early, do the 12 miles or 10 miles it takes to get into Duncannon. Okay, the water source down there is not the best. I've got enough water to get me through the evening and make my coffee in the morning, so I'm gonna go back up to the camping area and get ready for my evening meal. Can't decide what I'm gonna have, ramen or spam on wheat bread. I actually enjoy this part of the day when we got our tent set up, we're in camp, sun's going down, it's quiet, and I'm not overly tired. I like to get into camp early enough to relax, and that's what I'm doing right now. Hey everybody, this is Highlander 58 on the AT. It's Saturday, June 11th. I just got off the trail. Actually, I'm still on the trail. I just made it to Duncannon, I'm about a quarter mile outside of town. Left Darlington shelter this morning about 7:30. Had a great sleep last night, in spite of the fact there was a Boy Scout troop that came in late. The Scout Masters kept them quiet after 9. They were a good bunch of boys, and I enjoyed myself. Woke up and had breakfast and hit the trail. It's 11:35, and I made it here before 12, so I'm gonna go have lunch at Doyle, have a beer. There's a store right behind it that has hiker supplies. I'm gonna restock, and I'm gonna make a decision on going to the shelter. It's about 6 miles outside of Duncannon. There's a campground, or I can stay at the Doyle. I haven't decided yet. See how I feel after lunch. It's good to be here. Good morning everyone, this is Highlander 58 on the AT. It's 6:30 in the morning on Monday, June 13th. Just left Peter's shelter in Pennsylvania. I got in there yesterday about 1:30, 2 o'clock. I found a great camp spot near the shelter and got in my tent. Took a nap, woke up about 4 o'clock, had a light dinner, was able to get signal, texted home. There was a mass shooting a couple of days ago, I think, in my hometown of Orlando. And immediately I was concerned because it was not far from where my daughter lived, but I remembered that my daughter and her family were out of town at the beach camping. So I understand that over 50 people were killed by a single man with an assault rifle. I don't know the details, so I'm not going to speculate. It concerned me greatly that it was that close to home, not far from where I used to work, and it's terrible. It's a terrible. The news said, from what I could read on my phone, which is limited, the news reported that it was the worst mass shooting in U.S. history. So apparently another 53 are injured and some critical. And I'm so isolated up here that these things just, you know, they get to me later, and I just, it's amazing how, even though you have all these electronics, how cut off you can be from the world. So I'm very sorry to hear about that, and it concerns me because I have so many family members in Orlando. So that didn't help me have a peaceful evening, but after I was able to contact my family members and make sure they were okay, I slept better. So got up this morning very early, 5 o'clock, had some food, packed my stuff up, and hit the trail. I'm going to do 17.3 miles today to the, I think it's the Roush shelter. I planned it out so I could get there. 17 miles will probably take me until about 3 o'clock, which is nice. And then I have another day planned out to reach the following shelter area and then get into the Port Clinton area on Wednesday, probably Thursday morning. And then I'm going to try to get to Hamburg and get a room, do my laundry, and regroup, resupply, and try to get the heck out of Pennsylvania. Like Pennsylvania, it's just very rocky. So let me tell you about Duncannon. When I got there, my intentions were to simply go to the Doyle, because it's, you know, it's the thing to do, and it's part of the trail experience. Take a few pictures, have a beer, have a bite to eat, and get out. So I get there and I see a few people I know, and start chatting, and of course I had a 22-ounce beer. I started speaking to some people, and saw a couple of people I knew from early on my hike. One of those kind fellows bought me another beer, and that led to more conversation. And then I said, well, let me order some food. So I ordered some food, and that led to another beer. And about 2 hours later. So getting in there around noon and getting out at 2 wasn't going to happen. And I was going to go resupply, and that happened later. So after a few beers, it was the heat of the day. It was almost 2:30, high 80s, and I decided to get a room at the famous Doyle Hotel, as did most of the people that were there, enjoying themselves as well. Doyle is almost like a vortex. It kind of sucks you in because it's so famous, you know, it's part of the AT history. And food's not bad, and it's reasonably priced. Beers are really good, and they're reasonably priced. But so I had a change of plans. So I went in my room, very small, one window, no air conditioning, a very wobbly old paddle fan, and a little oscillating fan in the corner. Bed was okay. I took a nap. I got up about 6 o'clock, ate some leftover food I had in my pack, got a shower, and went outside and sat on the balcony, and I had a good conversation with some local hikers, some residents, and some other guests, and that went until about 9:30. So I went to bed in a hot room where the wind was not coming in the window. There was a building across from my window blocking a lot of the breeze, and there were a lot of trains going through town. It is an old rail town, and I think I got maybe 2 hours of sleep. The next morning was very difficult. I was out by 8 o'clock on the trail, and I think it was around 8. And I hiked, and I knew right then and there it was not going to be a good day. I was sweating a lot already. It was very hot and humid in the morning. You have to walk 2 miles through town, across the bridge, across a river, and get back up on the trail. And right off the bat, you're climbing up. So I knew about 2 hours into yesterday's hike, it was not going to be a long day, and it worked out that I found the shelter. Hey everyone, this is Highlander 58 on the AT. It's Monday, June 13th. It's about 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and I've just arrived at the Roush Gap shelter. It's about 0.1 mile off the trail. I did about 18 miles today from Peter's Mountain Shelter. It was a great hike. I started at 7:15. I got here about 2:30. It was about 8 hours, just under 8 hours, and that's my plan. 8 hours or 16 miles. I actually did almost 18 miles today, and I could go further. It's early in the day. It's a beautiful day, but I don't want to. I'm going to stay here and I'm going to rest. I picked myself out a beautiful camp spot up here. The tent sites are behind the privy, about 50 yards up on a hill, and my site is grass. Now all the hills around here are piles of coal. I mean, there's all these mounds of coal. My understanding is that this is an area where coal was mined back in the 1800s, and this is just coal that was left here. I don't know the story behind it, but I am literally standing on a hill of coal. All the trails around the shelter are made of coal. It's all crushed coal, and it's everywhere. Hey everybody, this is Highlander 58 on the AT. Just checking in. It's about 5 o'clock on Monday, 13th of June, and I'm just sitting here near the fire pit of my home for the evening, and there's a gal called Too Damn Short. She's up there in the shelter. We're the only people here, and she's playing a wooden flute, and I can hear it from here. It's very soothing. It reminds me of Native American music, and it's just, the sound is carrying through the wind and coming down to my campsite, and it's quite soothing and refreshing. I've been asked many times, as many of us have, why are you here on the AT? Why are you hiking the AT? And I think I figured it out. You know, that first step up the approach trail to Springer seems like forever ago, and it was not that long ago, but a lot of things have transpired in the last 3.5 months, and the purpose of my videos was to show a personal aspect of the trail, not just pretty pictures, and I've been including more of those, but my subscribers know that I want to give them a day-to-day journal, a video journal of the effect the trail has had on me and how it affects the human psyche. And I think I kind of figured out finally why I'm doing this. And this has been the hardest thing I've ever done in my life, and also the most enjoyable. But it's difficult. You know, I've walked over 1,000 miles. I lived out of a rucksack that's tied to my back for many days. I've climbed tremendous amounts of elevation. I've been through snow and ice and sleet and wind and rain and hail, sickness and heat. And I'm sitting in this beautiful space in the middle of nowhere, and I'm talking to you. You find people back home. And I believe I have learned that there's nothing more important than family. It's easy to see that we take things for granted in life. And maybe that's my reason for being here. I don't know. This has been a challenge. Every day is a challenge. You walk, you walk, you walk. You walk some crazy, crazy trail. I still have a long way to go, and I know it's going to be tougher as I go further north. And I'm going to keep pushing and walking every day. My goal is to get to Katahdin mid-September, but it's so much more than that now. It's about realizing what's important in life. It's not about miles to me anymore, it's about the journey. And I don't even know if I'm going to publish this or not, but I just wanted to get it off my shoulders and off my chest that I wanted to show all you people that there's an emotional side of the trail that often is overlooked. I know soon enough this will all be over and I'll be finished one way or the other. And I'll look back on this and say, you know what, the thing I got out of this hike was the most important thing to me is my family. Thanks for coming along. Well, good morning everyone. This is Highlander 58 on the AT. It's 7:15 in the morning on Tuesday, June 14th. I'm just now departing the Roush Gap shelter. I had a great night. I was the only one in the tent area. There were some people who came in late last night. They were already gone. Very nice shelter, great water, plenty of camp spots, nice privy. You know, it was one of the many nice shelters so far in Pennsylvania. You know, it's amazing. I've turned onto some old forest road here. The road is black. I mean, it looks like asphalt, but it looks like it's just ground up coal. Hey everybody, it's Highlander 58, just checking in. It's about 9:15 and walking through a beautiful meadow. There's a huge camp spot over there, and I think a lot of the people that have been hiking in front of me stayed there last night. It's a big open area, no trees, no shade, but it's nice and flat. And I'm now walking through a beautiful meadow, making good time today. It's again, the trail's been kind. Had one elevation this morning, it wasn't too bad, about 1,500 feet. And now I'm going back down, and then I can see the mountain I've got to climb next. It looks quite foreboding from here, but it's only, again, it's only 1,500 feet, so I'm not too concerned about it. Weather's great today. It's warm, but I have a cool breeze blowing and clear skies. So good day to be on the AT. Said I should make a 501 shelter, which is actually a cabin with a caretaker, by about 3:30, 4 o'clock today, and that's about 18 miles. And I may even push further to a really nice camp spot on a stream a couple of miles past that, so we'll see. Hey everybody, it's Highlander 58 on the AT. It's 11:15 on Tuesday, June 14th. I crossed Highway 81 after that old iron bridge, and started coming up this nice incline, nice elevation. It's the highest of the day actually, and I'm cruising along, not too fast, taking it easy. I hear it sounds like a herd of buffalo behind me. I turn around, and there's an entire company of U.S. Marines reserve, and a bunch of British commandos helping them out, I suppose. They were working with them. They were hiking to the top of this mountain. I let them pass because there was 100 of them, entire company of Marines, and they were on reserve, 2-week reserve training, and they went up the mountain. There was a British officer doing temporary duty here with the reserves in their training, and they cross train all the time. It's very common. And he looked around. Of course, all of them thanked me for my service. They saw my hat, shook my hand. I think 1 or 2 of them saluted me actually. It was kind of cool. They saw I was an old veteran. I asked the officer at the end, "You don't mind if I hike with you? I haven't been on a field hike in many years." So he said, "Sure." And I said, "Well, just so you know, U.S. Army 9th Division has your 6. And he laughed and he goes, "Glad to have you." So they stopped at the top and turned around, and I stood off the path again, let them pass. And again, I thanked them for their service, and they're going down to do a little R&R now, I think, and head back to Indian Town Gap. I've been there, nice place, striker unit there, and then they're going back to Fort Dix, New Jersey. So that was kind of cool. I mean, how many hikers get to hike with a entire company of Marines that appreciate what I'm doing? A couple of them asked me how long I've been hiking. When I told them, they were astonished that I'd done nearly 1,200 miles. So it made my day. Good morning, everybody. This is Highlander 58 on the AT. It's Wednesday, June 15th. It's about 10:30, and I just crossed the 1,200 mile mark on my journey on the Appalachian Trail this morning. It's perfect, exactly where I want to be when I want to be, and very happy about that. Had a great night last night at the 501 shelter. I decided to camp about 50 yards up a hill. A lot of nice level camp spots and plenty of trees for hammocks. There was one more hiker who was tent camping last night, and about 6 or 8 folks stayed in the shelter. It's a cabin really, with a caretaker's house next to it. I'm back on the trail. I'll be at the next shelter by 3 o'clock today, and then I'll be in Port Clinton or Hamburg about 12 or 1 tomorrow. I decided to take a day off. I got a hotel. I'm going to go to the Cabela's there. The Cabela store there is the largest in the world. They have a restaurant that serves breakfast, lunch, and dinner inside the Cabela's. I'm staying at the Microtel. There's also a restaurant and a tavern attached to that. And there's a Walmart right down the street. So I may purchase a new pair of trekking poles because I broke them again yesterday. The same one that I had broken before. I patched it together, it broke again, and I patched it together again. So I'm concerned about having a good pair of trekking poles going further north through these rocks. So I'm having a pretty good day. Actually an excellent day here on the Appalachian Trail. Hey everybody, this is Highlander 58 on the AT. It's Thursday, June 16th. Just rolled into Port Clinton. We stayed at the Eagle's Nest shelter last night. It rained all night. We packed up wet gear, and there's a couple of guys hiking with me. They're ahead of me now. As soon as I left the shelter, it started to pour. Thunder, lightning, and then it rained almost all the way into Port Clinton, about 8.5 miles. So gonna try to get dried off and get a ride into Hamburg. Guy I'm hiking with, Stellar, is looking for a friend of his, and that friend is supposed to be at the microtel, so I'm gonna see if I can't get him a ride up there too. Nice little town. Hopefully the rain will stop and we can dry out a little bit.